You ain't changed a bit, have you?
You haven't either.
You just got uglier and fatter.
Bob Will's Playboys have changed in the past half-century. Waistlines and hairlines have moved, but their music has not aged. 50 years ago, the band got kicked off WKY radio, and the Playboys took their music to Tulsa. The night before their 50th anniversary concert was a time to reminisce and a time to rehearse the tunes which made them famous. The Playboys have lived their music for 5 decades. Unfortunately, some have died along the road. While we were shooting the band's rehearsal, drummer Bill Mounts suffered a massive heart attack. The popular drummer died doing what he loved to do most. Mounts' death saddened his friends and perhaps brought the Playboys even closer together.
I think that if I had my life to live over again and I had a choice to make, what do you want to do in your life? I'd say I want to play piano with Bob Wills and his original Texas Playboys, and I want to become lifelong friends of all these guys that we're still seeing each other year after year. Lord only knows how long we've got left, but it's a great joy and it's such a privilege to have been in my lifetime, to have gone through what I have and to play for the greatest leader that a band ever had and the greatest guys that ever played.
Moon in all your splendor, know only my heart. Call back my rose of San Antone. Lips so sweet and tender.
When Bob Wills' Texas Playboys first played Tulsa in 1934, they played in dance halls packed with pretty girls. This time, their fans filled the Tulsa Civic Center.
Still live in my heart all alone. For that lonely path by the Alamo and roll my road.
The best part of what is happening right now in the original Texas Playboys is you play with these guys for 50 years and still like them. That's the best part.
You play with people that long, you either love them or you kill them. And we're all still alive, so we must love each other.
I remember.
The Playboys hope their music will take them back to Tulsa next year for another reunion. Their fans hope so too. Scott Wallace, News 4 with the Texas Playboys in Tulsa.
I still think of the past and all the pleasures we've had as I watch the mating of the dove. It was in the springtime that you said goodbye. I remember our faded love. I miss you, darling, more and more every day. As heaven one distance.
These are not the times of voter apathy in Oklahoma. 2 years ago, the state had a record turnout in the primary runoff that featured the pari-mutuel issue. That record was broken just last month when the runoff included liquor by the drink.
With just 1 day over 2 weeks to go before the November general election, the state election board has tallied the most registered voters ever in the state, more than 1.8 million. And for the first time in state history, the most Democrats, most Republicans, and most independents ever to register.
How about Election Day, November 6th? Board Secretary Lee Slater predicts a record turnout, 1.1 million.
For the last several years, our election officials in Oklahoma have been placing a high priority on voter outreach. County election boards and voter registrars certainly have gone far beyond the call of duty in making themselves available to people to register.
And your address now? 8116.
And of course, there are more people in Oklahoma now than ever before. But there is another factor fueling the rise, the intense recruiting by private organizations, led by churches. Oklahoma's Democrats have never had more than 1.2 million voters on their rolls, nor the Grand Old Party 500,000. But Oklahoma is Oklahoma. Who knows how they'll vote on Election Day? George Tomic, News 4.
Gary Dean Collier had asked a city judge to limit the number of mad members at his drunk driving trial. Collier claimed the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers had harassed him. He was afraid they might also intimidate the jury hearing the drunk driving charges against him. A city judge refused to limit the number of spectators at Collier's trial. A handful of mad members monitored the misdemeanor hearing. Collier was convicted of killing 3 people in an auto accident in 1979. At that time, his blood alcohol level was in the legally impaired range. Earlier this year, the defendant received a 1-year suspended sentence plus a $350 fine for drunk driving. One mad member who lost 3 relatives to Collier had a special interest in monitoring his current drug driving trial.
It was my family that he killed. And you know, if any other drunk driver would kill the family, we'd be there too to help them, because I think they should be taken off the street or give some time. And he hadn't got no time. This boy hasn't.
And
we took the personnel out of the building and the equipment out of the building, more due to the danger of the building structurally than the asbestos.
This means that they have turned down the agreement. We are going to have to get with those skilled trades, find out what the issues are, and then go back to negotiations on the skilled trades item and try to get them resolved.
Right here on that case? Strike it.
The application.
What's his name?
It's Jim Brown.
Where's he? Service, every corporation has to have a service agent. She's your service agent, you're served. You can't demonstrate inside a courtroom, whether it be a non-jury trial or a jury trial. You can't wear those badges in a courtroom any more than you could come in with a placard and hold it up.
Just 2 days after he allegedly shot and killed a highway patrolman, James Edward Best sat in front of a district court judge at his arraignment. District Attorney James Garrett told the court that murder in the first degree had been filed against Best. The defendant stood silent as the Beckham County judge denied bail because of those capital charges. Best spoke only to request a court-appointed attorney. The prosecution maintains that the Clinton man shot and killed Trooper Guy David Nally. That was after Nally stopped him in a tractor trailer on Highway 6 west of Elk City. Prosecutors say the trooper had just found out the trailer was stolen when Best shot him, and evidence at the scene makes the district attorney describe his case as strong.
Well, one of the things is the man's driver's license was found at the scene. It wouldn't make sense that his driver's license would be there unless he'd been there. The registration papers on the alleged stolen truck tractor were laying there.
District Attorney Garrett also says he doesn't know whether he'll seek the death penalty in this case. He says it's too early for that decision. But the prosecutor also added that the people of western Oklahoma expect this murder case to be tried to the fullest extent of the law. Bob Donaldson, News 4 at the Beckham County Courthouse.
It's a celebration, and these children are the stars. The event is the grand opening of the Belle Isle Secondary School. The facility is a first for the Oklahoma City public school system. The building has been designed to allow each child the ability to carry out his or her daily activity, no matter what their special need.
Our program is flexible and highly individualized, and then from that point, in the design of the building that we have now, we have specially designed water fountains, bathrooms, clinics, occupational therapy room, physical therapy room. We have adaptive PE. We have a site for music and drama, as you filmed a bit ago. And all the grades in the building are so gentle, the slopes are so gentle that for the exception of the students that are very, very handicapped, all students can manipulate and move their own wheelchairs.
You made me,
Principal Oral Peak has a special insight into the problems facing his students. An accident many years ago placed him in a wheelchair. Peak says having a school totally adapted to the special needs of these youngsters allows them high self-esteem. He says they know they can be a part of any program offered here. Tara Haskins, News 4.
I suppose the FTE that the number of employees who are there. She still has a race for
Information on state controls. For instance, the first sentence for each state will mention what.
In this time in educational funding in the state of Oklahoma, I think we have to look at any areas where we could save some money, because we're looking at a $125 million shortfall this next session to deal with, and people across the state are very much concerned about education and how it's going to be funded.
received a call from an informant who there may be some possibility that the actual getting a when you're there trying to defend yourself against two or three attackers, the gun getting knocked out of one of them's hand probably just a stroke of good luck for him, and it happened to happen in a way that not only did the gun come out of the hand of the attacker, but it was there where he could get his hands on it, and he reacted quite quickly with it.
Most tax strategists agree a trip to your local bank Most tax strategists agree a trip to your local bank or SNL can save thousands. An IRA, individual retirement account, can be opened as late as April 15th, 1985, and you can still get the tax break this year. This is how it works. If you are single, you can contribute $2,000 to an IRA, $4,000 if both you and your spouse are working, and $2,250 if you are married and only one spouse is employed. If your home was constructed before 1977 and you made energy improvements this year, you qualify for an energy credit. Insulation, a new thermostat, and even caulking around the windows will qualify.
Let's go around and get on the other side.
One change that will go into effect in 1985 is the luxury tax. People who have company cars or cars they own but use for business will have to pay more.
What the new law says is that beginning January 1, 1985, a person who uses an automobile, a passenger automobile in connection with his trade or business, must keep record of the business mileage and the business use, a contemporaneously kept log as to where he goes and what the nature of the business is. And if he doesn't keep such a record, he cannot take a business car deduction.
That luxury tax on business automobiles does apply this year if you purchase the new car after June of 1984. Kurt Autry, News 4.
Okay, your protagonist is your central character, and antagonist.
Oklahoma educators are agreeing public education is in dire need of more money. Along those lines, 3 state questions will face voters tomorrow. One educator says voting yes Tuesday will not cause an immediate increase in taxes, but that vote will pave the way for additional funding for state schools. State Question 572 will increase the debt limit for school districts by 5% of their annual budget. It also allows for the contracting of certified personnel for periods beyond a current fiscal year with certain limitations. State Question 582 will prevent profit-making schools from claiming tax-exempt status, allowing only nonprofit schools and colleges to be exempt from property taxes. And State Question 580 has the potential to garner an additional $85 to $100 million for general operations of local school districts. That money offsets previous cuts at state levels. Even if all 3 questions get the thumbs up from voters tomorrow, that won't be the end. The issue will then have to be put to a vote in each school district across the state. Tara Haskins, News 4.
The voting crunch caused a few other crunches on streets surrounding the polls. Police were called to direct traffic. Voters at Stonegate Elementary School thought they might beat the rush by voting at mid-morning. However, the long lines which began forming before dawn were still large 3 hours after the polls opened. The long wait was caused by more than just intense voter interest. People had to figure out how to vote on 10 separate state questions. And some folks had trouble with Oklahoma County's voting machines.
It won't
What? Open. It was through and I can't.
open. Have you left your levers down? The levers must be down.
I put them back up.
No, Pull them all down that you want and leave them down.
Okay.
Otherwise, the handle won't work.
Most voters seem philosophical about the long wait.
Everybody just seemed kind of carefree and eager to vote, and real interested, the ones I talked to.
Because the people need to feel that they should vote. And a little wait in line isn't bad. It's worth it.
Cash money is the bottom line here at the National Conservative Political Action Committee dinner. The people at this cocktail party just outside the Skirvin are here to bankroll conservative candidates, mostly Republicans, but also a handful of Democrats.
The only candidate that we supported this year in the Congress by giving a cash contribution was to the gentleman running against Congressman Jones in Tulsa, Mr. Keating. But in the past, we've supported Mickey Edwards and Senator Nichols and a number of elected officials in Oklahoma.
We met Phyllis Dillard. She looks just like Thelma.
The guest list reads like a who's who in Oklahoma. Publishers, politicians, and even football coaches are on hand to support the conservative cause. Each guest has their own special reason for being here.
We believe in what this party's doing and the success that our country's enjoyed in the last 4 years.
It helps Oklahoma City, helps the community, and it helps us nationwide too. It brings an eye to Oklahoma City and brings a lot of attention to Oklahoma City, and that's one of the main reasons that we're having it.
NICPAC officials are pleased with this crowd. At least $500,000 will be raised here tonight. All of the money will go to pay off the campaign debt of conservative candidates.
At the present time, there are approximately 20 that we've identified that have exit problems. They're in various stages. Some are building exits. Some have not been able to come up with the funds yet to do this. And each one, as it comes along, we're going to have to take a good look at it, make a determination at that time.
Census really over the last couple of years, but especially noticed a decline in the month of furlough. Well, I think Mercy Hospital has experienced the same declines in patient occupancy that hospitals have nationwide in the last year, and that's become particularly pronounced right now. This is a seasonal decline in our occupancy in the months of November and December. So anticipating that decline, we've asked our employees to take this time off.
This evening, as Kevin and Ginger take these sacred vows, we pray that they...
We had a contractor cutting out a drain on top of the roof. We're doing some work on the roofing, and the contractor was using a cutting torch to cut out a drain on the top when it caught the rest of the roof on fire and some of the insulation. He immediately sounded the fire alarm, and our people responded.
Other extenuating circumstances in which they could prove that they're.
And our insurance registration card that you have to take.
The guy that buys an automobile in Oklahoma today is the one that's paying far more than he should in the light of the other tax. Yet we have a lot of people out there that have a little pickup, live on a farm. They have vehicles that they don't use but a couple of times a year during wheat harvest. And we shouldn't jump that up equivalent to the automobile tax. There's no way.
The Air Force stepped up the battle shortly after dark. Choppers kept up their chemical airstrikes as firefighters continued their battle from the ground. The blaze battlers' trench warfare strategy had failed. Firefighters earlier cut holes in the building's roof and pumped water on the inferno. When that didn't work, they switched to liquid nitrogen. Firefighters hope the nitrogen will smother the flames, then they'll pump foam on the roof in an attempt to cool it. While the firefight goes on at Tinker, downwind neighbors have been battling smoke in their homes.
It hasn't been too bad unless you've been outside. And last night the air was so still that it really was kind of, it choked you up if you came outside, but as long as you stayed inside, it was all right. Today the wind's been blowing it just enough, east of us and fast enough that it really hasn't been affecting us.
It's been kind of choky. Hadn't really affected anything yet. Last night, when I went outside, just kind of smoking up. Couldn't hardly breathe at all, but it's been clearing up since then.